What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Above the Rim, presented by Afterthought Sports. I'm Austin Townley, and this is James Derrick. I'm sorry. Okay, so we tried to record this episode. This is our third time recording it because the first time I was trying to fix the lighting, and the light fell and it shattered everywhere in my room. I had to clean it up, and it went all of our laptops as a setup. Well, this is why James looks like this, and then, we started recording again after I got it all cleaned up, and we weren't recording. So we did about 10 minutes of an episode and nothing was recording, so.
Yeah, we haven't had to restart that bad. I mean, we were only about 10 minutes.
10 minutes in, first topic,
Yeah.
But this is on me, guys. I'm sorry. Not even guys, James. This is on me, dude. My bad. But you know what? It's the 4th of July. You can't even be mad. It's one of the best holidays around.
Yeah.
Well, when you're seeing this, it's not today, but
I'm not as mad as the one time you deleted our audio files of an Above the Rim episode. I don't know. You did that mistakenly, and I remember I don't know.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. Well, it's 4th of July as of when this episode comes out. I mean, we never really addressed that in the other recordings anyway, so we might as well now. Happy 4th, everybody.
Yeah. You want to talk about NBA basketball? Or no?
Was it the strawberry thing again? Or?
No, you can skip that. It doesn't really have as much relevance.
No, it doesn't. So basketball, let's just get into it. Big thing that happened 2 days ago now. The Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton on a 2-year deal. Luka gets that big man, to throw lobs, play defense for the Lakers that they desperately needed. And LeBron James also gets a big down to throw lobs for himself. LeBron, he plays better with a good, solid big. Same with Luka. The Lakers needed a big man. They didn't have a playable one. Mm-hmm. Jackson Hayes was all right, but he wasn't really playable, especially playoff time. So, James, why don't you give us a deep dive into this DeAndre Ayton signing?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we've all seen DeAndre Ayton play. We know what he looks like out there, but I think, you can get some more of a benefit from just looking at it from a statistical point of view, which is what I'm going to do right here. So, first and foremost, defensive rating, points per 100 possessions. DeAndre Ayton, he sits at 112. League average for a center, at least 23, 24 stats. StatMuse hasn't come out with them at 24, 25 yet.
Okay.
But league average is 112.1. Okay, so he's 0.1 below the league average, which is actually good. You want less points per 100 possessions, but you have to think that's just league average, all right? And then same for player efficiency.
Average.
He's 18.3 for a center in 23-24. Okay. League average is 18.4. So my consensus is he's league average at everything. I mean, maybe an above average NBA defender total, in total, because average is 115, but for a center, you need a little bit more. He's average for a center, especially with the lackluster perimeter defense that the Lakers are rocking right now. They're trotting out Luka, Austin Reeves. I mean, Rui's not bad. LeBron's
old,
pretty good, but old. And then, DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if he's good enough to counteract that. I think more than likely he'll have a down year defensively, but anyone that has Bron, if Bron is still going to be there, any big that has Bron is going to eat a little bit at least.
Same with Luka.
He should be fine on the offensive end, at least with the two guys that he's got. But defensively, the Lakers need more work.
Yeah, they just lost DFS to the Rockets, which that might be like a sign and trade. I was seeing something about Cam Whitmore. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like this move for the Lakers. Obviously, they filled the hole in the roster at center that they needed, but I don't think this changes a whole lot in my personal opinion. LeBron is old. He's, rumors that he might leave, which is crazy. DeAndre Ayton, from my experience as a Suns fan, I watched him for 4 seasons. He's very good, and he can be incredible. He can be a top 10, top 7 center in the NBA, but that's really if he's putting his 100% effort, and I don't think he does that day in, day out. So if the Lakers want the most out of DeAndre Ayton, I think they really have to push him like they are with Luka right now. Forcing him to get on a strict diet, strict schedule, being very disciplined, and I hope LeBron helps him with that. Yeah. And I would love to see Ayton's potential fully unlocked with the Lakers, because you do have LeBron James next to you in your ear telling you what it is to be great. And Luka, I bet you, is going to be spitting in Ayton's ear at this point, telling him, okay, look, this is what I'm doing now. this is what I'm doing to change.
Yeah, and maybe it's a different player now that he's on a team that he thinks is better, right? Not saying he was coasting.
Right.
He was dealing with injuries last year.
But stuck in Portland, it's just
maybe you get a different player.
Yeah, like stuck in Portland, they just drafted Donovan Clingan after trading for DeAndre, and that doesn't make very much sense. And then they just drafted at the 16th pick, 18th pick, that center, that Japanese Chinese center who looks pretty good, pretty solid.
Mhm.
So doesn't really seem to be a fit for DeAndre Ayton on that team anyways, and he was making a lot of money. He's a little older than the guys on that roster. So I didn't think he made sense in Portland anymore. He does make more sense in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now, I do think this is going to be the most usage we're going to see out of DeAndre Ayton since his time in Phoenix.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm not wowed, though, from the Lakers. It's still got a lot of work to do.
I mean, this roster is still pretty dull.
Yeah.
You do have a decent starting lineup with Luka, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton, but after that, it's just kind of like, what's next?
Well, I'm just not. It's always going to be defensively with the Lakers. I mean, look at the team that just won. The Thunder had prime defenders everywhere on the court, and any good team had the same thing. So the Lakers need to pick up a perimeter defender, a guard that can guard, and that's not Luka Doncic.
Nope, it's not Luka Doncic. This is going to be the 9th first overall pick LeBron James plays with in his career, which is kind of a crazy stat. The guys being Joe Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Greg Oden, Andrew Bogut, Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, and now next season, DeAndre Ayton. Won a ring with 3 of these guys, Kyrie, Dwight, and AD. Got Shaq at the end of his career. Wasn't really. Yeah. I think this is cool. This is a really interesting stat. But this is kind of leading me to LeBron James. Is he going to be a Laker next season? What do you think? Because he's on an expiring contract.
He is, for what I think is the first time ever, right?
Yeah. Have you ever really thought LeBron might get traded before? Have you ever thought in your head, LeBron might get traded?
Well,
like genuinely ever.
For his entire career, he's been the caliber of player that's impossible to trade. He's been a Nikola Jokic. He's been a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now. But
right.
Now he's kind of at the point where the Lakers could just look towards the future and think about trading him, but I'm not sure they're going to get anything back that they want. He's got $50 million attached to him. He's probably only got 1 year also attached to him, you know what I mean? So they're not going to get a return they want when you trade a name like LeBron James, I don't think.
Yeah, no, LeBron James, he accepted his player option. He's making like $52 million a year next season on a 1-year deal. I personally don't ever remember seeing LeBron James on an expiring contract, unless he's leaving. So we'll see. I don't know what a trade for LeBron would look like. I don't know who would offer a trade for LeBron. I think it's very interesting though. If he were to stick around in Los Angeles next season, with the addition of DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic getting in the best shape of his life, apparently, where do you put the Lakers on the West? Because the West is, and we're gonna get into this really deep dive into this later in the episode, but does this help them? Does this make them worse?
I mean,
what do you think?
How obvious is it that Luka has gotten in better shape? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to know till I turn on that first game and I'm like, oh, wow, he's actually moving.
Right. Like, he physically looks better, though. He's on a strict diet. I've seen pictures and videos. He does look visibly different.
I think
I'll give him that.
Not to echo a lot of the stuff that people have already been saying about the Lakers, but I think there's a decent chance that they're a play-in team next year.
Yeah. Depending
on what they can get out of all these guys, and I've already talked about how they suck defensively a million times, but I think there's also a chance that they just play well because they have LeBron and Luka. That's kind of what carried them through the second half of last season anyways.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Luka Doncic and LeBron, that's...
As you noted, the West has gotten a lot better. So
Yep. Another team in the West that got a lot better this offseason is the Denver Nuggets. They have had one of the most underrated offseasons in my opinion, but I also think they have had one of the best offseasons, if not the best offseason in the NBA so far. They're making a lot of moves. They're surrounding Nikola Jokic with absolute snipers right now, and that's what they should have been doing from the start.
Yeah.
That's what they did when they won the championship a few years ago. They just made a trade, which was pretty big in the NBA. A lot of people saw this guy getting traded.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson was traded to the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets traded Michael Porter Jr. in an unprotected 2032 first-round pick. So now you slide in Cam Johnson on the Denver Nuggets. You slide Michael Porter Jr. on the Nets. From the Nets side, does anybody really care? James, do you care that much?
I don't think the Nets fans are watching basketball.
There you go.
Currently.
So Michael Porter Jr., have fun in Brooklyn. Denver's side, though. Cam Johnson, you bring in he's taller. He's bigger than Michael Porter Jr. He's what, 2 inches taller than him? Maybe. I think he's a better shooter. One of the best shooters in the NBA, Cam Johnson. What did he average? 18 last season?
Yes.
He's a better defender. I love this move. I love it. He's a higher IQ basketball player than Michael Porter Jr. I think he can pass better. I think he can just be smarter and not shoot it every time like Michael Porter Jr. does. What do you think?
Yeah, I've got, some numbers here too. So Cam Johnson's coming off a career best in player efficiency
I knew that.
at 18.2. For a small forward, average is 14. For a power forward, average is 15. And he was coming off a year in which he had 18. Once you're approaching that 20 number in player efficiency rating, that's where you start to get to your great players. I think James Harden had 19.9 in player efficiency this past season. So that's when you start to get to that level. And he's still improving, as you mentioned. I think he's a little bit worse of a defender than I thought. He's got a 117 defensive rating, which is below average. Yeah. But, I think he's kind of being put in a tough spot with some of the positions he has to guard, power forward, where
especially in Brooklyn too. It's
didn't have a great defensive roster all around.
Yeah, the best defensive guy on that team was Nicholas Claxton. He's their big man. So
yeah, exactly. So that doesn't help his numbers. But I want to echo, this is the biggest part about this trade is obviously Cam Johnson coming off a career year. I think MPJ is an injury-prone player sometimes too, where Cam Johnson is not. But this also shreds $17 million from the Nuggets cap, where Cam Johnson is making $21 million a year. Michael Porter Jr. is due to make $38 million this offseason. And then next year, Cam Johnson is actually only going to make $20 million a year.
He signed that extension for
whereas Michael Porter Jr. would have made $40 million a year. So $20 million off the cap next year. So $17 million this year, $20 million next year. All around terrific move by the Nuggets. Saves them cap and gets them a better player too.
We'll get back to that cap thing in just 1 second. That's very interesting, James. Thank you. They also aren't done, though. They made a trade. They traded Dario Saric for Jonas Valanciunas. They picked up that backup big man that they need. He can also stretch the floor. They just signed Tim Hardaway Jr. Stretch the floor. Mm-hmm. They just signed Bruce Brown Jr. Stretch the floor, play defense, and he won a championship last time that he was in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
The cap space thing. Well, the Denver Nuggets are putting themselves in a very good position. They have enough cap space to go out and potentially sign Luka Doncic when he's a free agent. Wow. That's what they're doing right now. They have made the correct moves in creating enough cap space where they can actually go out and target Luka Doncic and pair him with Nikola Jokic. Now, what do you think about that? What do you think of Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic teaming up together in Denver, James?
I'm just imagining how open the floor would get when you need a defender to follow Luka all the way out to half court. You put Jokic in a 4-on-4 situation, basically, if he can catch at the free throw line. I think that's dangerous for the NBA. Oh. Getting someone who can just stroke it from that far out, that would be scary, actually. But I mean, we could be approaching a year in which Luka Doncic is even better somehow than he was, his past couple of years, especially because he's in shape. So I'm kind of excited to see that. But I mean, where the Lakers are depends fully on him. Not to get back to the Lakers again, but Luka Doncic is intriguing going into next year, to say the least. Very
intriguing. So the Denver Nuggets, they were the 4th seed last season. They made some very substantial roster changes. Where do you see them next year? Do you think they're going to be better, worse?
You can never count out a Jokic-led team because I think he could be with a bunch of scrubs and elevate them enough to the point where they are a 6-7 seed in the playoffs.
Kind of was last year.
I think you see them kind of in the same spot. 4 or 5 seed, maybe 3. They could be 1 because they have Jokic, but that remains to be seen.
I personally think this team's going to be the 1 seed next season. I mean, you surround Jokic with better shooters than he's probably had in his career. Last season, the roster was not that good. They lost a lot of guys from that championship team. They brought Bruce Brown back. They add that backup big man that they desperately needed, and then they added Tim Hardaway Jr., who played very well last season.
Yeah.
He had a very good season last year. And then Cam Johnson, I like him a lot more than Michael Porter Jr. He can be a guy that can create his own shot. Like Michael Porter Jr., he's just a spot up shooter. He's going to shoot the shot, contest it regardless, and it's mainly going to be a three. Cam Johnson can actually create his own shot. He can get to the rack. He can take that mid range, and he can also pass pretty decent. I think this Nuggets team is going to be the 1 seed, led by Jokic in an MVP season.
Can't disagree with the analysis there. Michael Porter Jr. is just not the all-around player Cam Johnson is. And while he was a little bit better in efficiency, I think Cam Johnson took a lot more shots than he did, and he's going to get a lot better quality of shots on the Nuggets. So
I agree. Now the big one. This is the biggest, most surprising thing I could have probably thought of that was going to happen. I never imagined this, to be honest with you, but it makes sense. Milwaukee Bucks are releasing Damian Lillard, or they have released Damian Lillard, to sign Miles Turner to a 4-year, $104 million contract. Miles Turner joins the Milwaukee Bucks, who is the Indiana Pacers' rival, who they just lost, or who the Bucks just lost to in the playoffs last season in the first round. I would be so pissed if I was a member of the Indiana Pacers and Miles Turner just joined the Bucks. James, what do you think?
I think Miles Turner left after Game 7 and was like, we are not coming back to another finals. He must have felt a certain way about the Pacers where he didn't think he should re-sign in order to win. Either that or it was a money thing. I mean, it's shocking to see a team that was just in the finals lose one of their players, their longest tenured.
I was gonna say,
player.
not even just one of their players. This is probably the fan favorite here, Miles Turner.
And it's unfortunate, to be honest, because I think if the Bucks and the Pacers are playing next season and they're in Indiana, fans have almost an excuse to boo him a little bit. I think they'll overall give him a little round of applause that he deserves, longest tenured Pacer, but he's going to get some boos too. Like there are people that get traded away, everyone claps when they come back. I think there are a lot of people that will be pissed about Miles Turner.
Dude, I would be booing.
You'd be a booer.
This team fought 3 times in the playoffs.
That is
They
true.
cleared the benches. They hate each other. I would be so pissed. I would not cheer for Miles Turner if I'm a Pacers fan if he comes back to Indiana. I'd be booing the shit out of him.
Well, especially because that puts the Pacers in a much worse position going into next season.
And they don't have a center. Their backup center is Thomas Bryant. And I don't even know if he's
you'd rather have Thomas Bryant than Rudy Gobert.
Well, yeah, I said ass would.
They basically got Rudy
But
Gobert.
now we have Mark Williams and Kamal Mollywock. Oh, man, I can never get over that. But do you like this, Miles Turner to the Bucks?
Well,
I don't really know what this does.
It's essentially a Damian Lillard for Miles Turner trade, and you lose on the cap space, because they're going to be paying for Damian Lillard still. But
yeah, they're actually.
If you want to detail that before I even break this down, because that's essentially.
Yeah, I actually do want to
here.
break this down. Lillard's contract is being stretched over the next 5 seasons, $22.5 million a year. Miles Turner basically is making $50 million a year. I mean, he's not getting all of it, but the Bucks are basically paying him $50 million to come to Milwaukee a season because they have to pay off Dame and they have to pay Miles Turner's contract. I don't understand this at all.
They just must not be very confident in Damian Lillard's ability to produce. However,
I mean, he did just tear his Achilles.
He did, yes, and he wouldn't have played this upcoming season.
No.
However, in terms of numbers, again, he had a 21.3 PER last year. That's better than a guy like James Harden. That's better than Anthony Edwards. That's better than Jalen Williams. That's better than Donovan Mitchell. Okay? He produced last year. And I think even with a big dip in production that you would imagine that comes with an Achilles tear, he's still okay. It's just on the defensive end that you would have had to been concerned. They'll celebrate when they're done paying Damian Lillard for not doing anything, but they're paying Miles Turner $50 million a year to be league average for a lot of the stats that he's considered in defensive rating and player efficiency.
Yeah. I don't understand how okay, I understand that why Milwaukee did this to a sense of we need to get Giannis to say anything, blah, blah, blah. What the hell what else are you going to do in Milwaukee? You don't have any money. You just paid Bobby Portis Jr. a shit ton of money. You signed Miles Turner for basically $50 million a year. You think this is going to make Giannis stay? James, do you think this is going to make Giannis stay and be like, oh, we got it?
I think this attempt was totally in vain. This is not
horrible.
This is not going to make Giannis stay. It's going to put them in a worse position, just in terms of the next 5 years. And I don't think the Bucks have all their draft picks either, and they're not going to have a very good team in the next coming years. They're going to be, who has their picks? Someone does. I should have looked into that. Sorry, guys, but whoever's got Milwaukee picks for the next upcoming years, they're going to be lucky because they're paying a phantom Damian Lillard $25 million a year. So
I think was Jrue Holiday in New Orleans before he went to Milwaukee?
Was it New Orleans before Milwaukee?
I think so.
You're asking a lot for me to remember.
I think so. I think New Orleans might have Milwaukee's picks.
Was...
I actually don't know who has Milwaukee's picks, but I don't think this does jack shit. If anything, if I'm Giannis, dude, I'm gonna double down on this. I said this last week. I'm getting the hell out of Milwaukee. Like, dude,
he might have to.
This just makes no sense. I don't know what this does. I don't know how this affects and betters the team as a whole because dead ass, I would have rather them sign a bunch of role players instead of just sign Miles Turner and bring back Bobby Portis. And that's where all their money's going, and then Giannis.
Yeah, but you have to imagine the only logic behind it is get good players that we can and try to get a top seed in the East with how open it is, obviously, with all the player injuries that there are with Tatum and Tyrese and Lillard. But maybe they can get their way to a higher seed in the East. I just don't think NBA-wise, league-wise, they're not even close to a top team.
Wouldn't even put this team top 12 in the West.
The West is just...
Trey Mann re-signed with the Hornets, 3-year, $24 million. That's awesome. Got it paid. Duncan Robinson, Pistons, 3-year, $48 million. Woo!
Yeah, they needed someone...
Shooter.
They needed a shooter who wasn't going to throw the games. If he...
You know what I'm saying. Like Beasley. Where do you think Damian Lillard is going to go? Where do you want him to go? James, where would you, personally, James Derrick, where do you want Damian Lillard to go to his next team?
Where do I want Damian Lillard to go? Man, I was just thinking like a team like the Heat, man. Just a team like the Heat. I need a Damian Lillard, man.
You think?
I'm not, dude, because here's what I'm thinking, okay? The Bucks don't waive Damian Lillard unless they really don't think he's going to be very good. I'm not sure how good Damian Lillard is going to be when he gets back. Is he even going to start on teams that he signs with? You would imagine so.
It's Damian Lillard.
It's Damian Lillard.
He had a great season. He had a great season this past season.
But with the direction that teams are going, I don't think anyone's building around Damian Lillard.
Hell no.
And he's not a good enough 3-and-D to be a role player.
I mean, he's just a 3.
He's just a 3. He is the 6th man that comes off the bench and strokes it. That's it. Right? Are you starting Damian Lillard on a championship team that you need to be able to guard 1 through 5 and switch and all this?
Depends on who else is on the team.
People are going to try to emulate what the Thunder just did.
If it's... Okay.
Damian Lillard doesn't fit that mold.
No, he doesn't. If it's Boston, I'm starting, Dame. Got Derek White next to him. Got Jaylen Brown, got Tatum. They can all defend. Damian Lillard can fit there. That's where I want to see him go. I actually want to see Damian Lillard go to Boston. I hate Boston. But in my opinion, that'd be so fun. Imagine a starting lineup come playoff time of Lillard, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford.
That's Al Horford still?
No, I don't know. Whoever they end up at center.
Yeah.
I don't know how that doesn't make any sense because it's 2 injured guys rehabbing.
Yeah.
I heard that they released him because they didn't approve of his request to rehab in Portland with his family, which is absurd to me. Stupid.
Brother, let the guy rehab.
Tore his Achilles, bro. So do you have any teams in mind other than the Heat? Or you just want him on a team like the Heat, man?
Honest to God, I don't have any wishes for him to go here or there because I'm not sure what kind of player he's gonna. I'm not sure he's going to have the impact that Damian Lillard would normally have once he comes back. I think he's a little bit too old, and there are going to be teams trying to emulate what the Thunder did this year, and he doesn't fit the mold anymore, essentially.
I agree. I still think he can contribute a very good amount. I still think he could probably start, but it also depends on how hard he hits physical therapy and rehab and all that stuff. Yeah. So, other than Boston, I think Denver would be really cool. I think Houston would be shit. Houston would be perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. You also have to imagine where are all these teams going to be after next year.
Yeah, like I heard Golden State is rumored to be interested in Damian Lillard. I mean, a backcourt of Steph and Dame, like that's awesome. Does it work? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think any serious contenders are not going to be reaching for a Damian Lillard.
No, probably not.
It's going to be all the teams that are thinking, man, I really hope this Damian Lillard thing works out, and then they just go for it. It's going to be like a middle of the pack team that's going to just try to reach, see if they can spark something with Dame. But
yeah, probably somewhere in the East. I don't really see him going on the West Coast. It's so loaded. I probably stay away. To be honest with you,
I don't know why are people staying in the West or going to the West? Like,
I don't know.
If you want to win anything, like Kevin Durant could have had like a free walk to the finals if he just went to any East team that's contending right now.
Probably. Like Philadelphia.
Philly
kind of opens up for them.
You guys could have gotten a return from Philly, couldn't you? Maybe.
For Kevin Durant.
What do they got?
We would have gotten Paul George.
That's
probably the best we would have gotten from them.
Yeah, but
3 and Paul George is probably the best we would have gotten from them. I would have taken that. That'd have been cool.
You could have tried to get like Jared McCain. They're not giving him up to you. No.
But forget the East. Nobody cares. James, the Western Conference is stacked. Like,
I agree.
Loaded. This is the best basketball conference I've ever seen. Let me break this down. Okay. This is unreal. The 1-seeded Thunder who just won the ring, bringing back their entire team. Their entire team being brought back. Super young, start of a dynasty. The 2nd-seeded Rockets just traded for Kevin Durant. They signed Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella. So they're adding one of the greatest players to ever play basketball. And they're adding a wing defender and a big man. They were just a 2-seed. Interesting. The 3-seeded Lakers just signed DeAndre Ayton and have a full season of Luka Doncic and LeBron James. That's crazy.
As of now.
As of right now. The 4-seeded Nuggets just added Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas, and Tim Hardaway Jr., surrounding arguably could go down as the greatest center of all time with straight shooters. What more could you actually ask for? The 5-seeded Clippers are going to run it back, but they're adding Brook Lopez to their front court. He can spread the floor and he can play defense.
Cool. I guess Brook Lopez just doesn't age and becomes Steph Curry. Dude, have you seen some of the shots Brook Lopez just be cashing? He didn't even shoot threes like 5 years ago.
I know, and now he just cashes.
And he's like aging like fine wine. Dude, he's still great defense. Brook Lopez is so underrated, bro.
He is underrated. Super underrated. Now the 6-seeded Timberwolves. They're running back their same exact squad, but they just made 2 consecutive Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards taking that next step up this season, maybe. 8-seeded Grizzlies. They still have Ja Triple J. Zach Edey is developing, but had to mention them because they made the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Sacramento Kings, they were the 9th seed last season. They still have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis, and they just signed Dennis Schroeder. Still have Malik Monk to come off the bench. They have Keegan Murray.
Don't forget about the Golden State Warriors as well. They also kept their whole entire roster. Just gonna have them for another whole season.
Yep, I know. Did I miss the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah,
oh, my bad. Golden State Warriors, you have a full season of Steph and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Well, do you really need like any more explanation than that? The 10-seeded Dallas Mavericks, or were they 11? They were 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 11-seeded Dallas Mavericks. Wow. Let me restart that. The 11-seeded Dallas Mavericks has Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and they just drafted Cooper Flegg, who is the next generational basketball player. Unreal.
Hopefully.
The 12 seeded Phoenix Suns have a brand new backcourt and a whole new team with Devin Booker and Jalen Green. They can make noise you never know.
That's a weird way of saying lost Kevin Durant.
Yeah. They lost Kevin Durant, but the Trailblazers, they're just there. The San Antonio Spurs last season were the 13th seed, and they have a full season of De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, who arguably could win MVP or Defensive Player of the Year or both next season. Stephon Castle, and they just drafted Dylan Harper with the second overall pick. The Pelicans, they still have Zion Williamson. They still have DeJounte Murray. They just traded for Jordan Poole. They have young Yves Missy. They have Trey Murphy still. They still have a lot of guys on that roster that can produce. This team could be something if they're healthy. And the Utah Jazz, they're just there.
I mean, it's the Jazz.
The Western Conference is stacked, James. Yeah. It's stacked.
And I know we talked about this just last episode, but it just makes you question that draft night trade from the Pelicans even more, because we just named 12 teams ahead of them last year that got better, and they traded their pick for next year.
Interesting, right?
So interesting.
I think we're going to have the best playoff race we've ever seen next year. The West is going to be, there's going to be a crazy team that doesn't make the playoffs, and then they're just going to get better pick and get even better.
Oh man, wow, yeah. Jesus.
Anybody.
This honestly isn't good.
Come out of the West.
This isn't good for the NBA. I'm not going to lie. This is because there's going to be a pretty good team that's high up in the lottery after this upcoming season's over.
I think this is great for the NBA.
You think so?
This is the most competitive conference ever. Has to be the most competitive conference ever. I mean, I just listed 14 teams that can make the playoffs. There is legitimately 13 teams out of the 15 teams in the Western Conference that could be a playoff contending team.
Oh, man.
That's unreal. I mean, have you ever seen that?
Not in my lifetime.
Not in my lifetime either, man. Because we're the same age. So, I think that's crazy. I mean, the Eastern Conference is wide open. Anybody can come out of that too, but it's seemingly like nobody in the East is going to win the championship. It just kind of seems incredibly far-fetched for anybody in the East to win the championship, in my opinion, because Boston is not going to have their roster next season. You don't know. I mean, if Philly's fully healthy, they actually could be decent.
Yeah.
But also, you never know. They could just suck again.
Yeah. I mean, the Knicks, Mike Brown.
The Knicks could... Yeah, they just signed Mike Brown. I guess we didn't discuss that. That's weird.
I mean, it's not huge news, right?
No, it's not insane. They finally on their coach search signed Mike Brown.
They have a coach now. So, I mean, I'm thinking Sixers, Knicks, Cavs.
Cleveland, they're definitely going to be a contender.
But
it's weird.
But, the Magic can make some noise. The Pistons can make some noise. I think while there are a lot of teams that we are used to being good in the East, the younger guys will step up and make the East a little bit more exciting, at least. But
yeah, I think, the West is just so stacked, though. I don't see a team in the East winning the championship.
I feel like there's always... Man, nobody saw the Pacers even making the conference finals.
I know.
So.
I mean, Game 7.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get a rejuvenation season from Philadelphia next season?
It's all Joel Embiid, man.
I agree.
It just depends on what you get out of him. If you get a full season, if he can stay healthy. But I mean, the roster's loaded. The roster looks good.
You got Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, just drafted VJ Edgecombe. You have Joel Embiid. You have Paul George. You have Jared McCain, if I didn't mention him. Quentin Grimes, you can re-sign him. He's still in free agency, which is surprising that nobody's picked him up or offered him anything. He had a great end of the season last year. They have a good roster. They could do something. Who knows? East is open. I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't really know if I mean, I would like to see the Knicks come out of the East next season.
That'd be exciting.
That'd be cool. I couldn't even begin to give you a pick out of the West.
I'm gonna go with the Cavs in the East, to be completely honest. We're just they want to prove it a little more. They choked.
Yeah, that's real.
They were hurt,
injured,
but they need to prove it. And then the West, like you said,
Toss up.
I'm not going to touch that.
Who do you think? Who do you think's Oklahoma City's like toughest opponent, like biggest threat in the West?
I still think it's the Nuggets, just because that was a dogfight of a series. The Nuggets were hurt too.
They got better.
Man, I hope that series happens again. To be completely honest, at 1-5 or whatever the matchup.
You know what I want though?
What?
I want Kevin Durant to take down the Oklahoma City Thunder in Houston,
Mm.
and I want to see a Houston Nuggets conference finals next season. That would be box office
The West being good does set up maybe one of the best playoff fields just in a conference ever. I think
100%.
every first round matchup is going to be great player against great player, great team against great team. I just can't. It just sucks that we have to wait so long.
Super cool. I know, dude. We have to wait a whole few months. Well, right now, it's July. It's going to be July 4th when this episode comes out. So, basketball starts up again in October. October. So, the season will start then. Playoffs again next April, May. We got a long time. There's still moves to be made.
Yeah.
We're not done. The NBA's not done. And Above the Rim's never done. We go on forever. ATR to the moon.
You can't avoid us. Sorry.
Nope, can't. I don't really have anything else to talk about unless you want to just shoot the shit, but
I don't have anything. I really don't.
probably was going to be a longer episode if we didn't break things. And
yeah, we were running on fumes a bit at the end here, a little.
I can't believe I did that.
I still got to go to work too.
Ooh, you have to work today. That's right. Yeah, we do have jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know who
employed.
commented. These unemployed, whatever. Dog.
We might be in mom's basement, but I'm employed. All right.
So am I, actually.
Yeah, he's employed too.
So.
I work.
This is. Keep it a buck. This is my mom's basement, but I live here. What do you want? I'm 20 years old. You want me to just have my own house already?
Yeah, I feel like that actually kind of makes it worse. We're so these rich white kids in our own house. What?
Starting a podcast just because.
I feel like that makes us less likable. But I feel like the fact that we're in
mom's basement. Should we make it known? Every episode we started out, be like, "Welcome back to another episode of Above the Rim in Mom's Basement," presented by Afterthought Sports.
There's a little more relatability. We're not we're
gonna do that. We're gonna do that from now on because this is. Yeah, that's fire.
Hey, and I'm just saying, because I'm employed, this podcast equipment, I can afford it. Is that bad?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the price of podcast equipment?
I think I low-key think people comment and they get mad because wow, these guys actually said something kind of funny. But it pisses me off that just random ass kids can post a TikTok and it gets a few thousand views.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like people just kind of they're like, bro, I could do this, and they're just gonna hate.
Yeah, I mean, they're only hating because they think they could do it. I mean, they probably could. No one's stopping you. I mean,
yeah, dude, chase your dreams.
Honestly, I hope we can encourage you to think, man, I could do that too.
That'd be pretty cool.
Because we are not spectacular in the slightest.
No, I wouldn't say we're spectacular. I think we're cool. I think we're fun. But I don't think we're spectacular. We're not there yet. We'll get there.
There's nothing crazy about what we have to offer, I don't think.
We're just two boys.
Yeah.
Talking hoops.
That's
shooting
it.
the shit.
If you don't like that,
sorry.
Comment that you hate it.
Yeah. You know what? Hate on it. If you don't like that, we're just two friends chilling in mom's basement, talking on a podcast about basketball and whatever the hell else, then you know what? Please leave a hate comment. I think I actually find them pretty entertaining.
I
do.
Out of all the people that watch, I don't think enough people comment hate. Because there's probably so many more people that hate us.
A lot of people that just watch the video and don't like it.
They hate it silently. They don't comment hate. Because they're probably oh, I'd feel bad. Don't feel bad. Comment hate.
Dude.
Be honest, right?
Yeah.
Maybe be a little more constructive. I didn't like that you said this. Maybe a little more specific.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly hate. Be yo, make this better.
Although, you know, it's going to be weird when we get back to school. We're not going to be in mom's basement. So we're going to have to come up with something else. But until we go back to school, it's going to be from mom's basement. But then when we go back to school, people are going to be like, oh, these rich kids. Because we're going to be in Plasman. And Plasman's actually nice.
Yeah.
Or wherever we end up recording. Could very well be in like the living room of
That's true.
the townhouse that
Our friends
isn't
have.
ours, actually.
Yeah, not even ours.
But like, who knows where we'll end up recording like when the semester starts, because we have a nice little setup down here in my room, but it's not this at school. We don't even have both these chairs at school. Like, I only have that one.
No, I hope we figure something out for school.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be like look decent.
Yeah, we have aspirations. This will do it for now.
I think this looks pretty good for now, but we have aspirations to do better things at school, especially with the live show.
The live show.
The live show is gonna be interesting. I don't even know if we have a studio for that yet. To be honest with you, we're kind of like spilling shit, I guess. But if you made it to this video, like this far in the video, you're a freaking real one.
Yeah,
so.
if you're still watching, can you like comment or something?
Yeah, like dead ass. You're a real one if you're still watching. So, guess I'll let you know. Studio, we have no idea what's happening next semester when it comes to the live show. Afterthoughts, because Murphy's getting renovated, and that's where we film our video.
Yeah,
or film our video. We film the live show.
It's a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of fun doing the live show.
I love doing the live show.
It's maybe the most fun thing that we do.
Yeah. I'd have to.
I enjoy this too.
Yeah, this is my baby.
This is
our baby.
So much more chill too.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like we're gonna be so much better on camera when we get back to school compared to like when we started.
Yeah.
Because like us doing this all the time, now we're just talking about this, but it's just so chill. Like just you and I.
Yeah, I know. I just wish. I hope we can get back into the flow of things nicely.
Yeah, me too. I want to get a flow. I want to get a schedule for afterthoughts and all the shows and all that stuff. That'd be cool.
I need a good schedule for my life. Get my life together too.
Dude, for real. Well, next semester my classes, they don't start till like 4 p.m. or like 1 p.m.
See, that's not good for getting your life together. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Why?
If I had classes starting at 4 p.m., I'm sleeping till 2 p.m.
No, I'm gonna wake up and like do work. Like that's better for me. I can wake up at 10:30, 11, and I can do work and then go to class and then do work after class.
Maybe that's true. I could use some structure. I think I have a class at like 9:30. That'll get me up in the morning.
That'll get you up, yeah.
You know, can't be a bum.
Yeah, I can't be a bum either. I'm in a single, dude. I got nobody that's gonna wake me up, so I'm on my own.
Hey, I got a roommate. He's cool.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan. But yeah, I don't know what it's gonna look like next semester when it comes to all this stuff. I know. Worst comes to worst, hey man, we're just gonna find a place and record it. Oh, Caden, are we gonna have? We want to bring Caden on here, right?
Yeah, Caden. I mean, he could be like every third episode kind of guy,
reoccurring person on this. I think he has really good insight. I think he's pretty funny on camera. Pretty good dude.
He does usually have a lot of work to do though.
Yeah, he usually has a lot more work than we do because he's not a J school major.
Yeah, he's like accounting, right?
Yeah, something like that. He's in the business school. Goes to classes in Swan.
Yeah.
You know, good for Caden. Shout out Caden.
Yeah.
He was on 1 or 2 episodes. One.
I think just one.
Just one.
He had to.
It's like it was the last one of the semester at school.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Damn, we've done.
That feels far away, but it really wasn't.
How many episodes have we done since school ended? I'm about to look right now. It's crazy.
I don't know. We've stayed pretty committed. I think there was a stretch where we didn't do it for maybe a little bit when we first got home, but I think we kind of hopped right into it at a decent pace, and we kept up.
So we got home
May 8th or so.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like after
so
May 8th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna be the 6th one since we've been at school, or since we've been home from school.
In the basement.
Hell yeah, in mom's basement.
Put the children in the basement. I just realized no one's gonna get that.
No one's gonna get that. Our math teacher in 8th grade, his name was Mr. Kanuru, and he was like straight from Kenya, and he had these weird like analogies for math, and like, do you know what it like technically was like?
Oh, it was something about when you're like multiplying fractions, or maybe something.
Yeah, it was with like
the denominator and the numerator.
And he would always say
put the children in the basement.
He'd always be like, put the kids in the basement.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool dude.
He was maybe the greatest math teacher I had. I loved him. He was so nice.
He was so nice and so sweet, and he actually did teach a good amount. It was just the school didn't really like it.
Yeah. And he had AC in his room because he had a sweating problem.
Yeah, dude, he did.
That was the clutchest thing ever.
Oh, that was awesome. When you would go into his room on a hot day when our middle school wasn't even air conditioned, but his room was, like, specifically his room was, not anywhere else. Awesome.
Do you think you could eat a Big Mac in under a minute?
No.
No?
Wait.
Under a minute? Just a Big Mac.
I've never had a Big Mac.
You've
never had a Big Mac.
You've never had a Big Mac?
No.
Like from McDonald's?
No.
Like their signature, like...
Never had a
signature hamburger.
I've never had a Big Mac from McDonald's.
What do you mean you've never had a Big Mac?
Are you stupid? I've never had a Big Mac. What do you mean?
Dog, you're 20, bro. You gotta stop ordering Happy Meals at some point.
I'm not ordering freaking Happy Meals. What the hell? Dude, I just don't like...
Grow up. Get a Big Mac. What are you talking about? You've never had a Big Mac.
I've never had a freaking Big Mac.
You've never been mature enough to go through the drive-thru and think, you know, let me try like the whole like one item that McDonald's like brands themselves after, the Big Mac.
I don't really go to McDonald's, bro. Not a Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Big Mac over here likes his freaking Big Mac. Shut up, bro.
I haven't had a
Why
Big
are you on
Mac
me
in a
about not
while.
having a Big Mac
I was just wondering if you could eat one in under a minute and then dodge the question.
Can you? Hey, James, can you eat a Big Mac in under a minute?
Most definitely.
Probably not.
I don't know. You've never had one, buddy. You don't know how fast it takes to eat one.
I bet you can't. I bet you can't eat a Big Mac in under a minute.
You're just hating, bro.
No, I'm not. Maybe.
You're just hating.
Nah, you know what? No, I'm not gonna eat a Big Mac. I don't want a Big Mac. Let's
go
do it right now.
You don't even want one. Like,
no,
why don't you want one?
I don't know. I don't like everything on the Big Mac.
Like what?
I have a crappy palate.
Crappy?
I have a shitty palate, bro.
What? What don't you like that comes on a Big Mac?
Isn't there like mayo on it?
No, it's Big Mac sauce.
Never had Big Mac sauce.
You've never you don't even know what you're talking
Yo, James,
about.
can I get a burger like a Mac?
Hey, can I? Hey. What's on?
Can I get a burger like a Mac, please?
Has no one ever asked for a double cheeseburger like a Mac, like with the Mac sauce? Is that ridiculous? He thinks it's hilarious.
Because James, you went up to the window and you said, "Hey, can I get a burger like a Mac, please?" Dog, what? Who's gonna get that?
I need people to defend me here, bro.
No,
this is a thing.
James went up to the window and he said, "Can I get a burger like a Mac, please?"
You said that already.
I know, but I'm gonna reiterate it. Have you ever done that? Is that normal? No, it's not. Would you?
A Big Mac costs much more money than a double cheeseburger. But if you make your double cheeseburger like a Mac, bang.
Okay, so you just ask for the cheeseburger with the Big Mac sauce on it, not like, "Hey, can I get a burger like a Mac?"
Well,
you think they're gonna know what like a Mac means? That ass.
I don't know. They work at McDonald's. They probably should.
Wow. Nathan used to work at McDonald's. You expect him? What? Okay. If Nathan were to be working at McDonald's and you went up to the window and you said, "Can I get a burger like a Mac, please?" You'd expect him to know and him to be like, "Oh, he wants a burger but with Mac sauce on it."
On God, he would know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, he would not, bro. Nobody would know what you're talking about. Nobody knows what you were saying when you said like a Mac, bro.
You thought mayo came on a Big Mac, bro.
I've never ordered a Big Mac. No shit. I thought mayo came on a Big Mac. It's like a big ass burger.
Because you got the mental age of like 12, bro.
Does it have pickles on it?
Yes.
I don't like pickles.
You're stupid. Dumb.
I don't like pickles. Dude,
grown man doesn't like pickles.
No, you're stupid and you're dumb for going up to the window and ordering like that. Can I get a burger like a Mac? Dude, shut the hell up. Can I get a burger with Big Mac sauce, please?
You're hating like crazy right now.
You're a dipshit.
You're hating like crazy.
No, bro. Because you're on me about not liking Big Macs. Never had one.
Have one.
I don't want a Big Mac, bro. Why the hell would I want Why would I want a Big Mac? That's stupid.
Yeah, you're a chicken nugget guy.
Yeah, dude. Oh, we gotta try them tenders from McDonald's.
No, bro. End the episode.
All right. Well, thanks for watching Above the Rim. James wants us to end the episode and not shoot the shit anymore. Whatever, that's fine, you know? James, enjoy your burger like a Mac. If you guys like this video, subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll be back next week. As always, peace.